Morning. Thank you for joining Coffee and Convo Houston live with RE and Chosen. First, let me apologize for uh, canceling last week's show. I'm sorry we were not here for your Coffee and Convo, but we'll make it up to you today. So today's topic is speaking life over to others and yourself. That includes your circumstances. Now, most people consider it as positive thinking, positive affirmations. It's really just learning to be kind to yourself, not looking for outside influences to boost you, boosting yourself. And you'll learn that when you speak kindly over yourself and speak kindly over others, yeah, I feel you'll have a better aspect on life and, enjoy your days better. What do you think about that?
Well, we definitely there's definitely a way of putting things positive and transferring that energy to making sure you uplift. I mean, you got a decision to make. Every time you come up to somebody, hey, can I make their life better? Or how or you can be the douche and be like, well, how can I flock up your day to day? You know what I'm saying? So but you know what I'm saying is I usually hear Al Sharpton when he says, a better me will help make a better you, and a better you and a
Hmm.
better me will make a better world. So we definitely want to take time out and you feel good, you know what I'm saying? Just like you probably would give a few dollars to somebody like one of the homeless or one less unfortunate on the street, you feel better to give. So what is better than to give that infinite version of a gift, which is giving good energy. You know what I'm saying? It don't take nothing to speak life over people and speak life into people to help their lives be better. Like what is it taking away from you if you do that?
Now
So
that goes well beyond just when you're having a good day, right? I mean, think
yeah.
about it. The most of the time when something negative is spoken to yourself or to other people, it's really when you're in a position where you feel like nothing's going right.
Hmm.
Nothing's going right, or a person has upset you, and the first negative thing you could think of, you spew out. Good morning, Jarrell.
Good morning, brother. There he is. That's my brother right there. Good morning. Good
So
morning.
yeah, I would think the challenge would be speaking life over someone and yourself in the most darkest times. Like
Hmm.
I mean, think about it. You're in the middle of an argument with your spouse. The last thing you want to say is, I really love the way you handle situations. You're ready to rip them a new one. But
Yeah,
that
like yeah.
I think that'll
Hmm.
also help incorporating thinking before we speak.
Yeah.
If you sit back and you think about all the positive things that you could think of about this person, I think it'll actually help protect, your relationship at that point in time, the emotional state of
Hmm.
both of you. Think
Yep.
so? You
Yeah,
agree?
I agree.
All right. So this is true, Jarrell. People do respond to feeling powerless, and then we respond negatively. At that time, you tend to want to assert your power and let people know who you are and what they can and cannot do. But what I am saying is if we take the time to think of something positive, I don't care if you're standing there singing We Are the World in your head while these people are arguing, but it'll give you that time to come up with something positive to incorporate into that situation. So to prevent a negative outcome.
Hmm.
All right. So, Chosen, how about you address some of the negative things that can be battled, that we can combat in the midst of misunderstanding, whether it be relationship, workplace, friendships.
I mean, once again, always having a positive attitude. Now, when you dealing with a friendship,
Hmm.
you also wind up speaking life. You also wind up speaking life into them by like the last one of the last shows that we did was having the hard conversations.
Right.
Having the hard conversations. One part of speaking life is also, you know, do, you know, giving them that little do better part, like not pulling punches and stuff like that, but not coming at their neck and not and coming at their neck and tearing them down without building them up. You know what I'm saying? Like if it's something that you know that you need to do, or and they're not doing it, you're like, hey, you know, you can always do better. You can always come back from a bad circumstance. So the negative. So when you combat that negative, you already see what most people have like negative in their lives already or whatever. But if you're that type of person that's about to try to speak life into them, you can point out what it is that they're not doing or where they're like where they're inadequate, but you also give the resources or you give them what they don't know to probably help combat them. Because at the end of the day, when there's negative things going on, there's only so much that you could do, so much that you could speak to them until they have enough to handle this stuff on their own, to handle something. Because at one point in time, there's a battle that they have to fight on their own. The only thing that they can take with them is the life that you've given them, or the weapons that you've given them to face that part of that battle, which is, I believe, that negativity that they might be dealing with. That's if that's what you're talking about. So
I mean, think about it. We do it with babies.
yeah.
As babies, as man, as soon as they get to running around the house, banging on the glass table, what writing on the walls, we don't run in and say, "Oh, you bad." Well, I'll take that back.
Yeah,
There
you're
are
not.
some
It's
parents.
some people that do that, but you
There
know
are
what
some
it
parents
is.
that do that. Good morning, Shell. Good morning, Leroy. Thank you for joining Coffee
Hey,
and Convo
good morning,
Houston.
y'all. What's happening?
We
Yeah,
there are some people that do that, but we're trying to break that. But we don't. And for the most part, for a baby, we let a baby get away with the one thing that will just make you want to pull your hair out. And for the most part, parents do not sit back and talk down to their 1 year old child. For the most
well,
part.
for the most part, the point you have some parents that see, okay, they're just exploring, especially in their little
Right.
space. They're doing this and then, but at one point in time, whenever they get to a level of understanding, you know, there's a certain way that you can talk to them about their behavior. Hey, now you don't want to do that.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? It's like,
So why does that change as they become older? And why do, instead of taking that same course an adult, we were quick to resort to the curse words, the the
because we okay, as you grow and you mature, as we grow and mature as
Mhm,
humans, I hate that word. Now let me quit. As we grow and we mature, we start thinking that, okay, if I can grasp this concept, then surely you can grasp this concept.
true.
So you're like, all right, um, you mean to tell me you can't understand this? So it's like what we do when we come at them like they're like, dude, you should already know this. Like I shouldn't have to tell you this. So it's a more aggressive tone because we gonna come at you like you already know what you're doing. So
True.
if you flocking up, we looking at you like most of us look at you like you knew what you was doing. You knew exactly what you were doing. You was just hoping that it would go unchallenged and unchecked. So that's where that aggressive tone comes in. Sometimes you like gotta curse him. Like Tyrese did perfect example. Tyrese made a post. He had a guy that he brought from South Central to I
I
guess
saw it.
work on his crib or something.
I
He had a
saw it.
yeah, and
Yeah.
so he was like, sometimes you gotta curse people out. And so he was cursing the dude out, but it wasn't like in a really, really in a derogatory. It was just using a grown tone of voice. And but the South Central in him came out. I mean, you know what I'm saying? So it's like that. It's like you knew what you was doing. We know you know what you're doing. And if it ain't after the lashing, then hey, we'll talk about it. But as you get older, it's like, hey, you're supposed to know better. So
Okay, so
that's where that
Jarrell
comes in.
says the battle is internal. Focus on healing yourself and your power within. You will be better equipped for adversity. True. This is why we're saying today, speaking life over yourself as well, because even though we understand your statement and we understand this concept, it's not something that everyone does.
Common sense ain't common.
And Rochelle would say common sense is a superpower. And not everyone has
And not
it.
everyone
He
has it.
also
Yeah.
says that they grow in confidence is why they change.
Yep.
Okay. So what I'm trying to get to is how important it is to speak life over people. You know, some of us have had parents that speak life into us, that have grown to accomplish a many of things. You know, that confidence was instilled in them, and their parents walked with them, you know, encouraged them. Then you have some that didn't have that in their corner. Not saying that they turned out a bad apple or anything, but the journey may have been a lot more difficult. You know, not having someone breathe that life into you. Um, I believe that it is important to have someone on your side that encourages you and lifts you up when you're feeling down. But as Jarrell said, it is an eternal battle. You know, there was
Hmm.
for years I couldn't say a good thing about myself. Now, I did go through a period where I would write positive things on my mirror. I don't know if you came around at that time, where
Ah,
I used
no.
to write on my write on my mirror and put little stickies up. And anyone that's seen being Mary Jane, that is a true thing. We do that, and I fell off of that train, you know, and it's very uplifting to be able to look into a mirror and see the words shining back at you. I used to write little poems and things on there as well, stuff that was encouraging to me, or a quote I may have found that I found spoke to me. I would write it out. But what I'm saying, we do that to allow that goodness to be planted inside, so we can share that with other people. Now, when we're lifting ourselves up, why is it so hard? Why is it so hard, except for people that we like, to lift them up and speak life over them? Except for the people we like. I'm serious. It's like I said, if you're in the middle of an argument, or someone you have an uh, I don't even want to say a love hate relationship with, but you don't really care too much for, and you say these things, and as quick as you have an opening, you say something disrespectful or do something disrespectful to this person, and you sit back and laugh about it and have no idea why calamity falls on your doorstep.
You mean
Why is it?
why calamity falls to your doorstep after
Uh-huh.
you said something negative when you should have said something positive
Uh-huh.
because of somebody that you have a
Mm-hmm.
like a love hate relationship with? Well, that I code that to ego. That's ego talking. You know what I'm saying? And if y'all remember in the my album, shameless plug, in the intro to my album, the little poem that I have in the beginning, it says uh at the end it says, you know, one thing I didn't know before, but now I know for sure, I had to let me go so I could beat ego. And so so every day it's a challenge where you say, I it's like you looking yourself in the face. What I usually do is like when I'm faced with something like that, it's like I look at nigga chosen, like it's me, and then nigga chosen is like right there. It's like okay, you know that meme where they have like Kermit the Frog or Miss Piggy,
Kermit.
and Kermit the Frog is like, and then on the other side it's the black cloak Kermit, the black cloak Kermit,
Yes.
and then himself tell him do one thing and then he tell you to do another. It's like that. You're faced with that, so it's like at that moment you have a battle that you can face. So basically, it's a decision. So you know, I look at it as a battle because y'all know the stuff that I'm into. So
Mm-hmm.
you have to win that battle. It's like, okay, all right, man, look, we're not doing this. But sometimes it's hard because when you had that love hate relationship, it's like maybe I could just say something to knock them down a couple of pigs and let them know, hey, it ain't no punk in me. You know what I'm saying? So it's like I'm gonna say this, and then you feel then whenever that then when you after you get done doing that, then you get that feeling after ego leaves, the other feeling
That
comes
feeling,
in.
I shouldn't have done
Yeah,
that. I
that feeling
that.
I shouldn't have done that comes in
Yeah.
there. And so the calamity the calamity befalling you and coming to your doorstep is like, okay, dang, like now I really can't say anything to reverse that. But you know that's what you think. Like I really can't.
Right.
It's out there now.
It's
You know what I'm
out there.
saying? So like it's out there now. I done did it now, and so some people carry that around, and there you go. So it throws energy off balance. So like throughout that day, you might have that depending on the type of person that you are, you might have that at the end of, you might have that at the back of your head. You might have it at the back of your mind. Dang, and it might bother you. Some people hold on to things a lot longer. So that's where that calamity comes in.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, I really hate that Frederick wasn't able to make it today.
I
But this
know,
is his
right?
favorite thing, cut slings. Cut slings. He is
Cut
so big on
slings.
cutting slings. Now, we're speaking life over a person and to yourself and into your situations. And we call these things positive affirmations, you know.
Right.
But there's a point you mentioned earlier that when we're speaking to someone, we're thinking, okay, they know this. There is no way they didn't know this. They should have automatically known better. But as I stated, Rochelle's so fond of common sense isn't common. It's a superpower. Now, I'm bringing this up because of Frederick's cut slings. Now, and I think we mentioned in one show that we should cut slings when it gets to a point that a person is consistently hurting you, inconsiderate, you know, it's bringing damage to your growth and your life. That's when you cut slings.
Yeah.
Now, I really, really, really want him here at this because, again, it takes me back to what about speaking life into this person? Do we not believe that consistently speaking life into someone will eventually break those chains, those habits, and help them grow? Jarrell has a comment before we go here.
All
People
right.
give powerful advice instead of positive affirmation. They become a mentor and a person crutch when they get too busy to give advice. An affirmation is like installing a Siri inside a person so they can formulate their own answers.
Hmm.
That's your boy.
Yeah, of course.
That's
I
your
mean, he
boy.
broke it down. Like I told
He
you once
did.
again, just very,
That's your
very
boy.
intelligent, man. You know, it's
But I
but
want to address. I'm going to address that personal crutch after you address what I just stated.
well, being able to cut slings and still be positive is like, hey, it's simple. You want to if you show that you're on a level of a different level of maturity that you can do that and speak good instead of speaking harm, you're not stooping down to their level if they're at a certain level. What that's gonna do, what I feel like what that's gonna do is determine what level you're on versus them. So if you're able to sit up and even speak, speak positive on to them, and they reject it, you know what I mean? That's them. It's
Mm-hmm.
almost like going somewhere where they can't follow. Like 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 if I go to the
I can
portal.
say that's the perfect time to cut slings.
Yeah, like okay, it's like okay, like once again, I do this again with my Facebook followers and my Instagram intellects. You see this meme where it says like, it's a meme where it's like, if you cross me, that doesn't mean I don't wish that. If you cross me, that
Mm-hmm.
doesn't mean I wish bad on you. I wish good at you. I wish good on you. You just can't sit at my table.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So it's like you still keep your integrity intact while addressing what other people are doing. And like some people still, most people get that conviction within them to be like, I don't belong here. And making
Right.
people feel out of place, if they feel you make them feel out of place long enough, and even if you hadn't had to humiliate them or whatever, you didn't have to stoop to their level. They just know they don't belong there. They'll eventually move themselves away. But you did what you had to do. I don't have to tell you I'm done with you to be done with you. It's actions. I can still speak life speak life, say wish you well, and just not fool with you.
Okay, so let I want to address this personal crutch. There are some people that seem to need the training wheels a lot longer than others. That's true. Okay. Now,
Yeah.
how do we help an individual know when it's time to take those training wheels off?
Well, there's like signs that okay, you once again I go to our entertainment. You know how okay, you ever seen like one of the episodes where dude got in a wreck or whatever and got the little neck brace or whatever, and then after a while they get up and they start walking around and stuff normally. And then whenever they know you coming back into the room, they hurry up and put the neck brace on so they can act
Yes.
hurt and stuff
Yes.
like that. So at one point in time, you can if you're talking to them, you can listen to certain things that they say.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess you just kind of know that I guess you just kind of know that you're on point with them where they ready. You can tell whether it's a crutch sometimes. Like, okay, you ready for this because of certain things that you eventually they'll slip up and give you something to let you know that hey, you don't need this anymore. So it's all about it's just a matter of time. Like I mean, I agree. Certain people do need that need
Extra
that push,
push.
that crush, that extra crush. Or I don't really like to use the
Not a
word crush,
crush,
but
just an extra
they
push.
use they rely when they start being codependent. You can start
Yes,
telling
and
when
that's
they
it
start
right
being
there.
codependent when that and it's like okay, now you're exhibiting these types of behaviors, and that's kind of telling me that you more than ready to do what you have to do. You just gradually pull away.
Okay, so as Jarrell was saying, there's powerful advice and then there's positive affirmation. Powerful advice, positive affirmation. One thing my mother used to do, she would give powerful advice, but as I grew in our relationship, she started she when I'd ask things for advice, she would affirm, say something positive to me to help me make a decision. You know,
Mm-hmm.
more of I'm not going to tell you what to do. I'm not going to tell you how to see it. It would just be you already know what to do. It's
It's
already in
yeah.
you.
She
You
leaves
know,
it up to you. She leaves it
leaves
up
it
to
up to
you.
me by
Yeah.
allowing me to take the knowledge and the wisdom I had, to make my own decision,
Mm-hmm.
to avoid, how some people can't decide what to wear. They'll call you and ask you, "What should I wear today? I got this going on. Should I wear this with this or this with this?" It's it's all right every once in a while, but when it gets to a point where, like you said, it becomes a personal crutch, person becomes a personal crutch.
Yeah, you become
And I
codependent.
don't codependent. I don't think there's anything wrong with being a mentor. I don't think there's anything wrong with counseling someone, but it's the person having to learn and know when to let go when they're able to walk on their own 2 feet. Okay, so hey, do you have any examples of someone speaking positive into your over your life other than myself?
I was just gonna say that, like, whenever you got certain people that come in and they see where you're needing in an area. But the thing about it is with you as being two of three, in the bestie
Yeah.
clan, you never you never pampering.
Mm.
And that's not just because I'm a man, but you're never pampering, you're never doing the pity stuff. It's you gonna be okay, and it's never like you're gonna be okay because you're such an amazing person and Gucci Gucci, you know what I'm saying, and Gucci Gucci. So you know what I'm saying. It's never that. It's taking the situation or the circumstances that I might be facing, and it's like you're gonna be okay. And the reason why I'm like I know I'll be okay is because like I know you, and then I take it up on my own and be like, yeah, dude, you know what? You stronger than this. Of course, you know that. It's just the extra push. It's just gas in the tank. You know what I'm saying? So another example, I guess, like I said, if you got I think the strongest influences and the strongest words come from people that are not like the ones that you are around like every day, like your parents. Like your
Mm.
moms can say, your mother, your father can tell you that all day. It's gonna work, but it won't be as effective because you grew up around them all the time, and it's like,
I
oh, you
think
supposed to
Jarrell
say
mentioned
that.
something like that before.
Like, oh yeah, yep,
We had a guest mention that before, but it was on the reverse side. That was
hmm
when we were talking about family ties.
right.
Okay, so Leroy says sometimes you have to let the bike go and let them fall or stay on the bike. True. After they fall, you can help them up. Sooner or later, they will become stronger from falling and will ride on their own without a push or a crutch.
What
And
I
that is true.
Yeah. What I usually do is like this. Like, I mean, my response to that, you fall off the bike, I help you up, and then I help you get back on the bike. Because I'm
Mm-hmm.
like, hey, you got to get back up here because if you don't, you're gonna build a complex and it's gonna damage your confidence, or it's
Mm-hmm.
gonna, so you let me help you get back up here, and if you need to, follow me, and follow me so that you can get over there. Because if you sit down too long and you don't, then you'll eventually be like, I can't do this, and you don't want to do that.
Now, speaking over some speaking life, and now again, I wish Frederick was here because this is also his thing as well. It's if I'm not mistaken, it's in I can't even recall the name of the book. He's written
The
about it.
friendship manual.
I believe it's in Friendship Manual. I believe it is. But we also, when we had Nation on here, Nation was also discussing this as well. I don't believe we, as a whole, actually realize how important it is to speak life into someone and over circumstances. Um,
Where you know,
what?
where you know
Uh huh.
to go into the energy side of things.
Okay.
Uh, Voice is a vibration.
All right.
So when you're speaking on a higher vibration and you feel the vibrations, then that's part of it. So positive words and on a high vibration is it's energy.
Uh
So
huh.
so whenever you speak that, it's not just heard, it's felt, especially on high frequency. That's all I
But
want to
it's
say.
also, you're right. And this is told to us in scripture, especially with the tongue. The tongue brings life and death.
Yep.
It
The
says
tongue
that
bring
in the
life and
scripture,
death. That's
life
it.
and death.
Now you think
So,
about the word. Okay, go ahead. Go ahead.
no, go ahead.
No, I want what you to say.
Okay,
Finish what
so
you.
the tongue brings life and death. That means it also brings blessing and curses. So if you're not focusing on the words that you're using when you're talking to someone at that point in time, like I said, like we said, speaking in anger, how we can say the most negative thing, and we're thinking we're just going to knock this person down a peg or two. Those words are seeds that you're planting into to this person, into this situation.
Hmm.
That in the end, for some things, if you sit back and you can find the root cause, it was something that was said. It was something that was said that has now manifested. You know.
Yeah.
Okay, so go with what you were saying now.
I was gonna tell you. You know when most people use the word now, there's another word that they use basically to kind of to describe the all, God, or what we believe in. You know what word that is, right?
What's that?
The word universe. When you speak to the universe. Now I want to talk about that word universe. Okay.
Hmm.
As a songwriter, verse is a collection of words. A verse
Okay.
is a collection of words to speak to to tell a sentiment, a story, or whatever. But it's a word.
Okay.
Uni is the prefix one, one. So universe, one word,
But scripture says in the beginning was the word.
word. So it's one word, universe. It's big and vast, but it's only one word. So you choose which words you put out there to bring manifest. So word in the beginning, like in the beginning, it was only sound. Before it was language, it was only sound. But whenever we learned to put language or universal language or one word language, we was able to put the sound came first before the words. We just learned how to speak English, and part of that was just like alphabet was made up, but it was just sound at first.
Mm,
So if you have certain sounds that are on different vibrations, that's how you determined whether it was good or bad or whatever. Like you listen to animals. Animals communicate through sound. We don't understand what a lion says, but other lions understand what lions say or what they mean by the vibration of the roar, or the high vibration of the roar, the authority. You know what you see a lion and the lion roars at you, you know to run. You know what I'm saying? Or I'm finna be messed up. But so
right.
I just said I like to say one word is the universe, one word. It's without even language, it's just straight up if it's sound and vibration. So that's how you learn to govern yourself. So speaking on high vibration is speaking life into people, and which
Okay.
is very what we said, which is very important. That's all I want to say.
Okay. Now, we've already admitted that it's not easy, especially when we're in our emotions, as Jarrell pointed out. When we're in our emotions, it's
Man,
not easy, you know.
Yeah.
Um, and thinking positive thoughts in the midst of a negative situation, it's easier said than done. Trust and believe it's easier said than done. Um, but I'm thinking maybe we should do a challenge. I'm thinking maybe we should do a challenge with speaking
Well,
life.
if you thought
Huh?
it, it's already out there. Well, if you thought it, then it's already out there. You know what I'm saying? So I don't see the problem in doing the challenge and speaking life. Let's speak life challenge.
A speak life challenge. I'm thinking that we should do that because we would be surprised how many things could change. I would say that again, speaking life is planting seeds, and it's affirming that person that we say we are behind closed doors.
Hmm. Oh yeah, it's a struggle, man. Sometimes because you have to understand that, uh, you have emotions for a reason. And a lot of
Yes,
people
we do.
say, a lot of people, and that's another thing that I always go back to. I hate it when people tell people, get out your feelings, get out your feelings. Oh, you in your feelings. Okay,
They teach you so much though.
why do you think you have emotions? You know what I'm saying? Emotions or feelings. It's
Hmm.
the whole social construct of not expressing yourself, or like what they say, what for men, like we're not supposed to
Yeah,
cry,
I was
or we're
just about
not
to bring
supposed
that
to,
up.
like,
Address
oh,
that.
you supposed to just go about it. That's like that's like false, because if you do that, it's okay. It's like this, and I think me and you talked about that. If you eat
Okay.
some bad food, and you eat some bad food,
We did.
and your stomach is like killing you, and it's you holding it in, and you start turning pale, and you start sweating and stuff like that, and you like, man, I gotta keep going, I gotta keep on going. But you got people around you that, let's say you go around the people that love you, and okay, you okay, you're really not okay, but to save face, you're okay. Like you will say that you're okay. Yeah, I'm fine, I'm good, I'm
Yes,
good. And then to some people, their threshold to be like, all right, man, as long as I can make, if I can make it to the bathroom, then
right.
then it's like okay, you still, they know you're okay. But there's some people that's like I even say, like for me, like you okay, like I could say no or okay for just only too long, but it takes that one person. It takes that one person that really, really can. You got a bond with this person, and they can come in and ask you, you okay, then you can just break down, and then you regurgitate, and after that you feel a whole lot better. You know what I'm saying? So it's just like that food, and it's good to get it out. You have some people saying it's good to get it out, but sometimes you can, as a man, though, you hold on to it so long that you like, I'm not gonna break, I'm not gonna break, I'm not gonna break. Sometimes you need to break. So it's like I look at it like that's kind of taboo when they say, hey, a man ain't supposed to cry. Did y'all see Puffy? One time I had to go to this. Puffy had just got done crying, and you can see the little tear traces, and he like, man, I just had a 2 hour cry.
Jarrell
You
says,
you gotta have one. Like, so what did Jarrell say? What'd you say?
speaking of lions, Mufasa told Simba to remember, didn't give any real advice. What you got to say about that?
Okay. He said remember and didn't give him real advice. Oh man, look, okay, I'm gonna tell you about that.
Okay.
All right, hold up. Okay, so
For those of us that
he said,
remember
okay, look.
all of lions.
Well, see, this is the thing. Even though Mufasa was gone from Simba's life, and it was when he said remember, like no one knows everything that you go through, right? They
Mhm.
see what you're supposed to be, and they speak to the life side of you to remember.
Okay.
That's like saying a self ex that's that when he said remember, he wanted him to do
Uh-huh.
what he meant about it. He wanted him to do a self-assessment of himself.
Okay.
Remember everything that you've gone through. Remember everything that could have killed you. Because remember, after Mufasa died, the hyenas was on him. He ain't had no time to grieve over Mufasa like that. Scar sent them. The dude ran through the briar patch. The fall should have killed him. Being out in that desert in the savannah should have killed him. And it's like, so when he said remember, it's not saying that. It's not saying that. I know exactly what you've been through, but it's saying, hey man, you know what you've been through. You know
Basically,
what you
you
survived.
survived it. Okay,
Yeah,
okay.
so
Remember,
you know what you
remember
survived
everything that you've gone through, you've come through. So,
to
okay,
get to this level.
yeah, I would say that is real advice.
Yeah, remember.
Yeah,
Don't
I would
forget.
say that is, because
Yeah,
that's for
remember.
anyone. That's for anyone. If you're down and out today, and you're feeling under pressure, you're ready to explode. If you sit back and think about every trial and tribulation you've already gone through, you should be able to find the strength to say, hey, I'm gonna survive this as well.
Right. Now this, since we talk about the Lion King, the one thing that plagued Simba was because Scar made him believe that he was the cause that Mufasa died.
Uh-huh. I
Okay.
remember
So
that.
on top of that, for him saying that, remember, it was like you have to go back and and once again self-assessment. He wound up facing that. He knew he loved Mufasa more than anything. And so it was like he had to go back and face that. So when he went back, so if you remember, it was time for him when he was getting ready to go back to Pride Rock. What he
Mm-hmm.
did was he said, okay, I'm ready to face it. I'm ready to face my past, regardless of whatever anybody thinks. This is today. So when he went up there on that thing and Scar cornered him and told him, say, oh, you may have forgotten it, but have they? And then so he stood up and was like, all right, so who was what? I did it.
I
Even though
am so
he
glad Jarrell brought this up, because when you
yeah,
say Timon and Pumbaa spoke life into Simba,
they gave him like, they gave him a new thing. They gave him, they gave him something to help get him to that point. Hakuna Matata was just him Hakuna Matata was just him getting a different perspective on the other side of it. You know what I'm
I would say
saying?
they spoke life into him.
Yeah, they spoke life. They gave him something, but they gave him uh something to say, hey man, you can't you can't worry. And so what did God give us? God did not give us a spirit of fear. God
Right.
tells you not to worry, even though things in the, turning from your past. And some of the lesson was wrong, but it goes back to scripture, train up a child in the way he should go. You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? So even though, what was the first thing that he said when he said Hakuna Matata? And he was like, Hakuna what? He was like, it means no worries. He said, when the world turns your back on you, you turn your back on the world. And Simba said, that's not what I was taught. So
Mm-hmm.
that was Mufasa's teaching rose up in him. You know what I'm saying? So he already knew what was in him. And yeah, he did Hakuna Matata for a long time because he was running from his past. It would have been harder for Rafiki to tell him um what to do with the past if he did not know that lesson at first. If he did not if he didn't take heed to what Mufasa's words, if those words were not there. So Timon and Pumbaa gave him perspective. Rafiki reminded him of who he was and not to run from his past. And what he had instilled in him was the thing that rose up in him when he decided to go back to Pride Rock.
You know what? I
So
cannot
the
believe
word
we just used Lion King.
Yeah, so the word remember was what he needed. So when he said remember, that was what he needed. You have to remember what you've done. Not everybody knows what you've done, but you do.
That is interesting. That is interesting. This goes back to like you mentioned, Timon, Puma, and Rafiki. That I would say that was Simba's counsel. Okay, so even scripture tell us to have wise counsel, walk with wise men. It tells us that. So this goes back to and ties into, as we're stating today, how to speak life over people and into circumstances, situations. We guilty of it myself. I get in my feelings, and when I get in my feelings, I will call and vent. I will call and vent, and I those that know me know I can vent. And with that, my counsel always bring me right back to where I'm supposed to be, and who I am, to help center me. Now um, the last thing we'd want to hear sometime when we're upset is someone trying to help center you. Okay, it's all right to feel that way, but that's not the kingdom way. That's not who you really are. You are a loving and caring person. Why don't you be wise about the situation and handle it wisely. It's the last thing we want to hear when we're in our feelings. Um,
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is.
like you always tell me, oh, you're gonna be all right. You're just mad right now. You'll be all right. You know, it's like when you're cooking a pot of stew and you turn it down after it had a raging boil. Now it's at a simmer, and as it's simmering, just stir it a little. You okay? You're all
Hmm.
right.
Well, see, that's kind of needed. Yeah, you don't want to hear that, but it's kind of
Mm.
needed because
It's the one thing that keeps me from
hmm yeah,
losing it. I don't
you
want
ever
to.
have right? Yeah, you got those types of friends that be like, they tell you something good, and you be like, "See right there, see, I hate you because of that. You won't let me be whatever it is." Then you say stuff like that, and you just like, it's like, but you know what it is? Again, I code it to ego, because ego tells you, man, if that mother flocker was if that mother flocker was on fire, I wouldn't spit on them, because you start thinking about what it is in there, but then you have that
Mhm.
counsel that tells you, now that's
Now
not
you
you.
know that's not you.
It's like, that's not you. And then you be like, you get upset because it's like, sometimes you get upset because it's like, how come I don't get the chance to be evil? Well,
Hmm.
you should, it's a balance that you have. It's a balance. So some, like don't get me wrong, like some evil is necessary. Like, and what I'm talking about, what I mean by that is some
Hmm.
evil is necessary. Like, uh to go against, to protecting your peace, you have to go to a point to where it's like, you have to go to a point to where it's like, okay, I need to do away with this. Like I,
Yeah.
I need to think, I need to do away with this. Like, you can't do away with a lot of stuff being nice all the time. You know what I'm saying? So you kind of have to know what it is. Like hate. You have to have a certain hate for something. A hate for this, a hate for like the
We're
police
gonna talk about that
brutality.
in another show.
Yeah.
Checks and balances. That's what
Hmm.
I've called it before. Checks and balances, because
Nice.
in
I like
some,
that.
huh?
I like that.
Because there are some necessary evils, as you stated, and that
Yeah.
when I say that, it's more not a evil, but a right to defend
A
is
right
what
to defend.
it's checks and balances, a right to defend.
Hmm.
Um, so we have about 15 minutes here. You want to
That went
hit
by
some?
quick, didn't it?
It did.
That went by quick.
It
Do we
did.
have any more comments? Is there anybody else that said anything? Because I'm looking at,
Yep, Jarrell says that's affirmation. He directed him to use his own intellect, use his own morale compass. Why didn't Mufasa just say, "You know, you ain't kill me"?
I mean,
Leave it to
at one
Jarrell.
point in time, it's like, I mean, he still kind of did, because that's why he said, remember. Like, that's why he was like, remember, like, you didn't. But see, why the reason why he did think that was because Scar spoke negativity to him. Oh,
Mhm.
look at what
And
they
we tend
done.
to harp on that
And
negative.
sometimes you harp on a negative. That's like, that negative be the biggest confidence killer
Yes.
ever. You know what I'm saying? So, but it's funny that you said that, though, Jarrell. Like, why he couldn't have said it? They just didn't write it like that. Because that made me mad about that movie too. It's like, hey, why did they just let him admit to something that he didn't do, that he thought? But the turnaround was this. The turnaround was, had he said that, you didn't kill me, we wouldn't have got the pleasure to see Simba jump up off that ledge when Scar had him in the same position that Mufasa was, for him to
Mm.
choke that neck and be like, you tell him. And he made Scar punk up and be like, all right, I did it. I killed Mufasa. And guess what happened? Them lionesses came after him, and he was free from all of that. So remember was the thing that he had to do. And he had to use Scar to get that. It's almost like you being framed for something. And
Mhm.
the best liberation is when you be in front of all the cops that think you did it, and then you didn't do it, and you make them take accountability for what it is they did. Kind of like Four Brothers. Four Brothers knew, Tyrese knew that that cop was dirty. He wound up killing Terrence Howard and everything, and that dude flipped the script on him. And when he brought him out there, it was like, okay, he's like, what is he doing? So he made him atone for everything that he did inadvertently. So
Okay.
sometimes your enemy is needed to clear your name.
Jarrell says there was nothing wise about Timon and Puma. Take time to really dissect it. The first thoughts they had was how they could use a lion as a bodyguard. They was trying to keep him around the hole. Your score
But he
impression
can't be
was on
alone.
point, bro.
But hey, but that's what I'm saying. They
Yeah,
were there for a reason because he had stress on him, and they were like the stress relievers. It wasn't exactly the right way, but hey, everything turned out the way it was supposed to. Because I mean, how many times you sit up and be like, you know what, man, I'm just not for it today. I'm just not gonna do it, and just because sometimes you need to get that off of you. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes you just need to put stuff down.
sometimes you'll
That's what
find
they were
wise
for.
counsel in the
And a
most.
fool.
There you go. There you go. Sometimes you will. Sometimes you will. I'm not gonna say all the time, but sometimes you will.
Mhm.
All right. So let's talk about this challenge. What do you think this challenge should really entail here?
I mean, shoot, we got it. We got Facebook, we got Instagram, and the challenge could be just, um, you know, speak life challenge or give energy challenge, and just say something nice on the
Life
thing.
challenge.
Speak
Yeah.
life, just say like, it ain't necessarily got to be to a specific person. You could just make you like a little 10-second, 20-second video just telling, just speaking some affirmations or however you feel that's on your heart to do it. And then you just post it. I feel like that's a good way to do it.
Jarrell say one
What?
chip challenge.
He said what?
A one chip challenge. Don't grab a bag of leaves.
Yeah, man.
Oh,
Uh,
that's awesome. No, seriously, a speak life challenge. I think we should do that. Um, because it is a time for us to actually I'm gonna say step into a position to where we're really helping one another, like we always say, this show is to help the people elevate to the next level, and part
mhm.
of elevation will be and is speaking life,
Yeah,
you know. So um, let's do a speak life challenge. Let's see.
I agree.
Yeah, let's we'll work out the details and post it on our page, Coffee and Convo Houston. We may do another video with the rules and details of it. So look forward to that, please. And please don't forget, we have not come up with the date yet for Coffee and Convo Houston After Dark, but it is going to be a treat. We're already knocking that out. Um, Jarrell, enjoyed y'all. Keep pushing the convo. Enjoyed you too, Jarrell.
Enjoyed
Always
you
a
too, brother.
pleasure.
Always a
See you
pleasure.
next Sunday. Um, so yes, also keep that eye out for Coffee and Convo Houston After Dark. It is going to be a treat. It is going to be a treat. So if there's any positive affirmations and life quotes that you know of out there, please feel free to drop them down in the comments box, and or you can email re at beautifully edited llc.com, and we may use this quote and these affirmations in one of our videos. um, Check back with us what later on today with the details of the
Mhm. The
yeah,
challenge for the
speak
details of the
speak
challenge.
life
Yeah.
challenge. Yes, check
All
back
right.
on our page later today for the rules and guidelines. It was a pleasure. Hope you enjoy your Sunday. Is there anything you want to say before we go?
Nah, man, just remember to continue to speak life to one another as well as yourself. That's an important thing too. Uh, just enjoy your day, and if you chilling, if you got to go to work, just make it count. You know what I'm saying?
All right. Enjoy your Sunday. Love you.
Love you right back.